With Manchester United reportedly locking up the services of centre-back Matthijs de Ligt from Bayern Munich over the past few days, we sort of figured we were done with the Manchester United centre-back rumors, and then back from the dead comes Jarrad Branthwaite from Everton, who Manchester United are once again linked to for some reason, despite having spent over 100 million euros on centre-backs already this summer. How can this rumor still be going, and does it make any sense? How many centre-backs is Manchester United really going to play? We're going to try and figure it out next, here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub. Just when we thought this summer couldn't get any weirder for Jarrad Branthwaite, and we've already talked about that here on the channel, the back and forth between Everton, Manchester United, some fans want to keep him, some fans want to sell him, what makes sense? God, you gotta feel bad for the kid. He just barely missed out on making the England squad in the Euros, and now, could he still be on the move from Goodison Park to Old Trafford? This one's out of left field. I did not see this one coming, so we're going to try and figure out sort of if this makes sense and what Manchester United is doing and where the hell they're getting all this money from. But before we try to figure all that out, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me down below so you can follow the channel. Get down in that comment section. United fans, does this make sense? Another big-time center back? Is that what you guys want? Should this money be spent somewhere else? Are you excited about Branthwaite? I don't know. Get down in that comment section. Let me know what you think. You can also leave some comments on Twitter at PitchsidePub, and check out the website pitchsidepub.com where you can get our free newsletter. So Jarrad Branthwaite, listen, great player, great young player, and he was, heavily linked to United for a lot of good reasons. It made sense early in the summer as they wanted to replenish what had been a leaky back line last year. They gave up a lot of goals, and this was obviously an area of need. So it all makes sense until they went out and shelled 62 million on Leny Yoro, who's already gotten hurt, and then another reportedly close to 50 million euros for Matthijs de Ligt. And that one is still sort of being wrapped up. I'm not sure it's official yet, but all reports indicate that it's going to happen. So over 100 million, about 110 million already when it's all said and done on two center backs that frankly should be the center back pairing at United for the foreseeable future. Yoro's young. He's probably not ready to be the guy this year, and he got hurt, so he's out for a couple months. But Matthijs de Ligt is ready to be slotted right in next to Lisandro Martinez and be the center back pairing for the season. So that is sort of where we thought this was going to line up. And then in comes the Jarrad Branthwaite rumors. Now, you still have guys like Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans, and Evans is clearly a squad player at this point, but Maguire is still trying to battle for his spot. And if you add somebody like Branthwaite, he's what, the fourth, fifth choice at center back? And yet, if he stays healthy, he somehow manages to always end up back in the equation. The question is, how many center backs are they planning on playing? Now, there's no indication that United is planning on switching to a back three, which would be a massive fundamental shift for Erik ten Hag. So I don't see that happening, but that would at least explain it, right? You could potentially line up, Lisandro Martinez, Matthijs de Ligt, and Jarrad Branthwaite with Leny Yoro rotating in once healthy, and that would be really something to watch. But I don't think that's happening. If that's happening, and I missed that report somewhere, let me know. Get down in the comments and let me know if that's something that you are expecting to see from Manchester United. I'm not expecting that. Now, I do want to address a growing trend that we saw, particularly towards the back half of last year in the Premier League, which is the use of center backs as fullbacks, right? And it does sort of morph into a three-back set when you have the ball, and one of the fullbacks joins the midfield, either inverted or gets up, and overlaps on the wing, and then the other the other fullback, so let's say the right one goes forward, the left one stays back, or vice versa, sort of falls back as a three-back when you have possession. And that could be the thinking here, and there's a growing trend for a lot of the big clubs in using a center back as a fullback. And we saw that with Manchester City, and they routinely have used Josko Vardiol and Nathan Ake as a left back, but also rotate them in as center back options. We've seen it with Liverpool, who sometimes puts Joe Gomez out there, and he can play either fullback or center back. We just saw Arsenal sign Calafiori, whose biggest asset right now is his ability to do both. He's a very good player. I don't mean to downgrade that, but he can very, very capably play both fullback and center back. So we are seeing that trend and the ability to have a a fullback who can slot over as a third center back when out of possession is valuable. So that could be the thinking here for Manchester United, and that would make sense, and I actually like that. But there's a couple problems with that. You have a couple of good fullbacks, so that's a problem. You have, Amas, you have Dalio, you're getting rid of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but you have Luke Shaw. I mean, they've got some good players at the fullback position, so you'd be rotating one of them out if you tried this. The other problem is none of these center backs can play fullback. That only works if you have somebody who has some experience and some pace and some athleticism for the outside. Vardiol is as much a left back as he is a center back. He genuinely can do both. Ake is a very capable left back and had played that before, at times before he got to Manchester City. Calafiori can absolutely do both. You've got to have guys who can really do that. Matthijs de Ligt is a traditional center back. Jarrad Branthwaite has only 2 starts at left back in his career. He's left-footed, so he could be that left center back. But to put him out on the left side, he's a big athletic kid, but he does not profile as a fullback. He profiles as a center back. He is, again, that sort of big traditional English center back, and he's not Harry Maguire in terms of athleticism. He's much better than that, but he's not Josko Vardiol, and he's not Calafiori. And so that feels like you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. I understand if that's a tactical philosophy that you want to try out, but I don't see Branthwaite as an answer to that. So where are you playing Branthwaite, De Ligt, Lisandro Martinez, right? One of those two. So that's a rotation right there. Harry Maguire's out for sure. And then when Leny Yoro comes back, where are you getting him in? And again, I recognize that he's not ready just yet, but you got to be thinking long terms with these guys. Branthwaite's a young guy. Yoro's a young guy. De Ligt is still only 24. I mean, and these guys you're signing these to, these are big costs. These are big costs. You don't do this for 1 year. You don't go get Jarrad Branthwaite because Leny Yoro's out for 3 months. That's not what you do. That's like buying a new car because your current car has to get an oil change, right? Like you don't do that. Make that long-term investment. The other question is, where's this money coming from? Where is this money coming from? Everybody else is scared of PSR regulations, and United's out here spending like it's 10 years ago. That's now, if the Branthwaite rumors are true and the previous offers that they had were in the 60, 70 million range and got rejected. So if they're pulling this off, you're talking 170, 180 million euros in one summer just on center backs, as though that's the only problem this team has. And you really haven't made any money outside of selling scumbag Mason Greenwood. You really didn't make any money, and even that was only 20-something euros, 20-something million. So where is this money coming from? Is there another sale on the horizon that we don't know about? Oh, and Xerxes, Joshua Xerxes, who's going to be your backup striker, he was 40-something million euros. So where is this money coming from? That's a real question. And then to continue to spend to bolster one position that you seem to have under control now really does raise some questions when you still aren't sure who's scoring the goals and are starting a really old guy at midfield in Casemiro. So I don't know. I love Branthwaite the player, and it's not that he wouldn't be a good fit at United. He's a great player, and he's a great player in the making. He's going to continue to get better. He could have a great career and anchor the Red Devil defense for the next decade. It really isn't about the player or the team, and he fits well in the current tactical format. It's just that so do the other guys that are already there. And so I don't understand where Lisandro Martinez, Matthijs de Ligt, Jarrad Branthwaite, and then a healthy Leny Yoro, where they're all playing. And if you are going to try and squeeze 3 or 4 of them into a lineup, you're going to lose guys like Luke Shaw and others. And yes, he's had injury issues, and I'm constantly talking about depth. And man, I guess if you can provide depth at 50, 60 million euros a pop, then more power to you. My argument is usually that you need to, rather than make the big splash, you need to spread that money out to get multiple players. Well, they've managed to do both. Spend the big money all in one fell swoop and then do it 3 or 4 times. Hey, if that's a thing they can do financially, more power to them. I'd like you to stop complaining about how much some other clubs are spending, if that's the case. But hey, if that's how you can get your depth, more power to you. The problem is these really high-priced guys want to play. Lisandro Martinez is not going to be happy sitting on the bench. Matthijs de Ligt just came from a situation where he couldn't crack back in the lineup at Bayern Munich because they had some other high-priced options, and he faltered just a little bit and lost his spot. And so, you are possibly setting up a situation where you've got some high-priced guys who expect to play and are not happy when they're not. Jarrad Branthwaite is not leaving Everton to sit on the bench at Manchester United. He will not be happy with that. So that's something Erik ten Hag will have to navigate, and he has not shown a tremendous ability to handle those types of situations. His man management is very questionable, and his leadership is very questionable. So is that a situation you want to create for yourself? A lot of questions here, a lot of questions. So, hey, as much as I love Branthwaite the player, and if I'm a United supporter, I'm happy to have him in a bubble. This doesn't happen in a bubble. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. And there's a lot of other, parts that go into this. So I would expect that if they do this, and this is just rumored at this point, but if they do this, there's got to be another move on the horizon. Certainly, they've got to offload Harry Maguire somewhere to get, recoup, I don't know, 20 million or something from him. But you're collecting a lot of really big name, really high profile, and really high priced center backs, and you can't play them all at once. And yeah, that's going to be really nice depth if injuries happen, but you've also got the potential to be out of money and have a lot of unhappy people in the dressing room, and that could be a problem. I'd love to get your thoughts. Does this make sense to you? Do you want to see this happen, or would you rather see this money go elsewhere? Do you see this becoming a problem, whether you're a United supporter or just a neutral here? We're an Everton supporter because this affects you too. Get down in that comment section. Let me know what you think. You can also leave some comments on Twitter at PitchsidePub. Go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button for me down below so you can follow the channel. And check out the website, pitchsidepub.com. While you're there, sign up for our free newsletter. All right, thanks as always for joining us here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub.